Hey, what's up everybody? Today is a really fun video because this is my first Q&A in quite a while. I love to talk, so I love to do Q&As and I love to answer questions, but my life is pretty crazy in terms of having a family and also helping at my church and doing a whole bunch of different projects. So I don't get to do it as much as I'd like, but I love to answer your questions. And Sweetwater and Earthworks Audio came together for a really fun opportunity for me to be able to answer your questions, showcase this amazing Earthworks Audio Icon USB mic, which I'll tell you more about how you can win one of these amazing microphones near the end of the video. And today is my first test of my new camera setup. And so it's a whole lot of great stuff all in one. You can see this camera over here is moving and there's no one using it. I have a whole new slider and gimbal and all this stuff that I'm really excited about because it's been a while since I've upgraded my camera rig and really tried to get some awesome stuff for some really cool shots. So that is what all this video is, and I am screen recording my iPhone over here so I can feature your username as I answer your questions. So let's, without further ado, check out the first question here. The first one is going to be the_DWT. If you could do a collab video with any drummer, who would you pick? That is a tough question because there's a lot of drummers that I would love to do collab videos with, but I think the first guy that comes to mind that I haven't already done something with that's just him and I really, that would be Mr. Kobus Potgieter or Quibus Potgieter, or I don't know exactly how to pronounce his name. He taught me when he came out and was in one of my 2 million subscriber video collab, but it wasn't just me and him having fun for the whole video. There were a lot of other drummers here, and I admire his passion. I love his joy and energy and entertainment behind the kit, and he's a phenomenal player, and I think that him and I would do something really fun together. Let's see. I like this question. All right, so Tank_Kid5, what keeps you going after all of these years? Well, that is a good question because there's definitely a lot of burnout when it comes to creating videos all the time, which is probably why you've noticed that I haven't been posting quite as much lately. It's not because I don't love it, it's just because it's also a business for me, it's also my livelihood, it's also how I support my family. And so when all those things cross over into something that you really love, it gets a lot more difficult. And so for me lately, I try to spend as much time with my family as possible. And so the way that I keep going after all these years is I do it because I love it, and I do it because I'm having fun. But I'm also starting to limit the concepts that I do to a lot of the concepts that are more that actually bring in revenue for my family and help me, pay the bills and help me put food on the table. As much as people, think that I make a ton of money, I don't make a ton of money. And so I actually, I keep my expenses low and I keep my costs down so that I can spend a lot of time with my family and still enjoy this. Because if I had to do it 24 hours a day, every single day of the week just to pay the bills, I don't know if I would enjoy it quite as much. But drumming has always, been one of my biggest passions, and I really grew to love the videography side of things and love the audio side of things and love the business side of things too. And so I think for me, what keeps me going is that I love everything. I don't love every piece of everything all the time, but I do really, really love creating content and doing what it is that I do. So that's what keeps me going. Also my family. I mean, I believe that God has put me in a position to have an amazing family, and He's put me in this place to hopefully inspire people and make a positive impact on people's lives. And so that really, hoping to do something good in the world also is a big factor on what allows me to wake up every day and sometimes get through the days where it's a lot of annoying or boring stuff. All right, Sama, SAMMA.RA, Samara, maybe. At some point, have you considered leaving the drums? That's a tough question. There's some times where I've considered leaving the drums as my livelihood, but I don't think I've ever considered leaving the drums because I don't love them. Because, I think a lot of people get bogged down by like trying to be the best or worrying about who's better than them, and the competition nature of music. And I don't like that. I don't like competition in music. I think that we should all just do what we love and do it because we love it and try to be the best that we can be and not worried about someone else. And so if you don't think you're getting good enough fast enough, or if you don't think that you're where you want to be, or you see someone who's doing something that you wish you could do and you can't do it, I could understand getting frustrated and maybe thinking about stopping playing. But for me, the reason I've never really considered quitting the drums is because I don't feel like I have to be the best. I just feel like I have to have fun and love it. And so as long as I'm loving it and I'm having fun, which is pretty much all the time, if I'm not too focused on like, oh, well, I just saw a new Luke Holland video and he's like, she's just so much better than I am. Or, oh, look what Matt McGuire just posted. That dude's an animal. Like, it's just, it's easy to get either inspired or discouraged by all the amazing stuff on the internet. And for me, I like it to just be inspiring and to bring entertainment. And so, no, I don't think I've ever considered leaving the drums in terms of doing it for fun. Let's see. How big is the mic compared to a potato? This is the mic I assume he's talking about, the Earthworks Icon. Well, I would say it is longer than most potatoes. If I was more prepared for this question, I would have brought a potato down here. Maybe I'll do that at the end. But, a potato is probably like that long. And it's that long. A potato might be a little thicker though. So yeah, maybe like 80% of a potato. What's your favorite cover you have ever recorded out of all the bangers out there? That's from Hoed Drums, I believe, or Hoad Drums. Oh man, my favorite cover ever. I tend to always gravitate towards Heathens by 21 Pilots is one of my favorites ever. Also, I really love Eye of the Tiger. That one was so much fun, and the Drumeo team makes everything so fun to be a part of. And then I also, of course, love my Burn cover because that's what really kicked off my fire drumming, and there's just been so many fun moments regarding that video in general as well. And we're gonna let it burn, burn. What's your favorite What is your favorite rudiment? What's your favorite rudiment? That's from Hunter the Drummer with 3s instead of E's. I like the 3s instead of E's. So my favorite rudiment is the Flam Accent, and I didn't really plan to play drums in this video, so I don't have the mic set up, but it's a right flam, and then a left, and then a right. Both of those like taps are down, not accented notes. And then a left flam, and a right, and a left. So it sounds like... And you can do a lot of fun things with that, especially like crossovers, like flamming on the floor tom and the snare drum, and like just flams in general are just really fun rudiments. And the Flam Accent is my personal favorite because there's just so much you can do with it that is almost always interesting. Being able to combine the tone of the like 8-inch rack tom and the snare drum, and then the 10-inch, etc., etc. My mouth drumming is awesome. All right. Lazy Raptor 1234, this is a good question. I have been playing drums for 10 years and I want to buy a new kit and I don't know where to start. Should I go with electronic or acoustic? That question has a lot of pieces to it. So, first off, I would wonder what kit you already have. If you already have an electronic kit, I probably wouldn't get another electronic kit unless the electronic kit just wasn't doing a good job anymore. It was like too old and it was falling apart or something. If you have a decently nice acoustic kit, then I might not get another acoustic kit because unless you're just collecting them or you just really you want a gig kit and a studio kit or something, then there's not a good reason to have more than one acoustic kit if your acoustic kit's already pretty good. So I would say if you have like a Pearl Export or a Pearl Decade Maple or something, unless you're really wanting to step it up to like a Session Studio Select or a master's or a reference or something, then I might look into an electronic kit just because of the fact that it allows you to do a lot. It allows you to practice more. If you have volume issues, I mean, the big question is, do you have volume issues? Because if you have a situation where you can't practice all the time due to the volume of drums, then I would almost certainly instantly suggest that you get an electronic kit, because the more that you can practice, the more that you can play, the more that you can have fun, and being passionate about playing and being able to practice when you want is huge. So for that, an electronic kit is a great step. But then budget plays into it, because electronic kits are normally more expensive than acoustic kits. So do you have the budget to get a decent electronic kit? Because I don't suggest buying a crappy electronic kit over buying a decent or nice acoustic kit. So there's a lot of factors to weigh in there. Eugene NG1212 says, what DAW do you use? I use Logic Pro. I love Apple products. Not that I'm like an Apple fanboy or anything, but I love the way that everything works together, the ecosystems. And so I typically edit on Final Cut. I record on Logic Pro. I use Apple MacBook. I have an Apple iPhone. My iMessages, my emails, everything just works together really, really well in that ecosystem. And for the most part, Logic has everything that you could ever imagine. If you're trying to be a professional engineer, I would suggest learning Logic and learning Pro Tools, and maybe focusing more on Pro Tools. But at the end of the day, if it's your home studio and you're doing it for your stuff, then you can kind of do whatever you want. And for me, Logic Pro is what I do, because I get to do what I want because it's my studio. All right. Drummer_Alex Grooves wants to know, at what age did you get your first drum kit? I got my first drum kit around 8 years old, and it was a Pearl Forum kit in wine red. So basically like a Pearl Soundcheck or Pearl Roadshow. Those are two of the newer versions of the Forum. It was a really, really entry-level Pearl kit, but Pearl makes great drums from the bottom all the way to the top of their line, and that's why I love playing Pearl, because I can sit behind a Session Studio Select kit like this one, which is a really, really great middle-of-the-road professional-grade kit around $1,500. And I can say, this is an incredible kit. You should totally get this kit if you have $1,500. But I can also say to someone who's watching my videos who doesn't have $1,500 to spend just on drum shells, who wants a great kit, I can say, go get you a Pearl Roadshow or go get you a Pearl Export and spend $400 or $500 or $600 on drum shells, or even the full package with hardware and some practice cymbals and stuff. And it's still an incredible kit with that lifetime warranty and just absolutely great quality. So that's a little extra spiel there on top of the question. But the end of the day, the answer is a Pearl Forum, and that was my first kit. Now, I'm going to take a second here just to talk about this microphone in case you've made it this far and you're really interested in how to win it. This is the Earthworks Audio Icon USB. So Earthworks is the company that makes all the microphones that I use in my studio, that I use to record my drums, I use to record vocals and guitars, and their mics are just insanely amazing. Once you try Earthworks Audio mics, you pretty much never want to ever use anything else unless you're looking for like a particular sound that is, known for a certain microphone. Other than that, Earthworks Audio has the incredible clarity that I've never experienced on any other microphone. And the reason being is because they have these tiny little condenser that's just so quick. The time that it actually registers the note and then is ready for the next note, it allows it to not have any sort of bleed between the notes. And what that means is just incredible clarity, incredible transparency. Same thing goes for these. It records like you're there. What I always say is, like, if you record with normal drum mics, some of the industry standards out there, it sounds like you're listening through good headphones on some good mics, and that's great. And there's a lot of times where that's the kind of sound that people are going for. But when you get rid of those industry standard mics and you put in Earthworks Audio mics instead, it's like you took your headphones off and you're standing in the room listening to the drums. And in most scenarios, that clarity allows you to then go and do post-production and do whatever it is that you want to do to make the sound how you want it to sound, and you get that clarity. There are very few scenarios where I ever think, man, I really wish I didn't have this much clarity. I wish I couldn't hear the cymbals so well and hear every single drum so well. And like, it's just incredible. And that's what they brought to these microphones. This was their first foray into a USB or a XLR style microphone for gaming, for streaming, for podcasting, for videos like this where you're doing talking videos. And so in this scenario, this is the Icon USB version, which literally all I'm doing for this video is I have my cameras running, then I have one cable from this mic running into my laptop, which is right here, and I am recording that laptop, or I'm recording the microphone to the laptop. And so this simplifies everything for me. I have one audio file. I don't have to run XLRs to an interface and then run the interface to the laptop. It brings the clarity so easily. They also have the Icon Pro, which is an XLR based version, which is I would say even a little bit better than this one. Both of them are they're not the cheapest USB microphones or XLR mics on the planet, but they are an incredible quality for the price. And if you want to click the link in the description there, you can go check them out at Sweetwater. That's where I recommend buying them. I mean, it's incredible, the customer service they have. And if you want to win it, you can enter to win this microphone until I think like May 8th is when the contest ends. That link is in the top of the description. You can get yourself a chance to win one of these. There's a lot of ways to enter, and it's international. So no matter where you live, I'm going to ship one of these to whoever wins the Gleam giveaway. And so what you do to enter is you can like some different pages, you can visit some different pages, and there's different entries that you can get, and you can get a bunch of entries, and then Gleam will randomly choose a winner, and boom, someone's going to win this awesome mic. So back to some more questions. You can hear how amazing this mic sounds, and if you want one and you don't think you're going to win, or you don't want to wait to see if you win, then you can get it at the link in the description from Sweetwater. All right, what song would you suggest for a first cover? That's from Max Fuel MF. I mean, I think Back in Black is a fun song to start out with, because there's some things that are difficult about Back in Black, because you want to make sure that you're right there in time, even at that slower, more easy tempo. And there's some things that are easy about Back in Black, of course, the drumming and everything. And there's some stuff in there that might be a little bit tricky for a newer drummer, and that, I think, is a good place to start, because it forces you to get out of your comfort zone a little bit, but also isn't very, very difficult by any means. Big Boy Bartholomew. What's your favorite at Zylgen company symbol? I have a lot of amazing cymbals that I love a lot. This is probably my favorite China. This is an 18-inch special dry K-Custom China. It just, because it's a special dry, it just cuts and then it's out of the way. It's really, really cool. But I would say the Sweet Ride is my overall favorite. There's an A version and a K Sweet version, but either one is great. The A, I kind of like the traditional finish more than the brilliant finish, just because it's a little bit, I think, more versatile. The brilliant finish is just really bright and cutting. And the traditional gives even more wash and even more just beautiful uses. And so the Sweet Ride is one that I can bring to a gig, and I can bring hi-hats and that Sweet Ride, and I can crash it, I can ride it, I can bell on it, and all I need is those two cymbals. So it's always a very versatile cymbal to have in your bag. E. Anthony 01 wants to know, how's life? And I like that question, because I did want this video to kind of update you guys a little bit about what's up with me, if you really, really are interested. So if you follow my Instagram, that's where you'll actually like really keep up with my life, because I post more of my personal stuff there. But on my life side of things, I mean, things are great. COVID was very interesting, just because, you know, I stopped doing a lot of traveling and like those kinds of events and stuff. And so I had to change the way that I looked at what I do. But at the same time, like, I've never really tried to travel that much, because I have a family, and unless I'm traveling with my family, which not all the time is the easiest or best scenario if I have to go work, then I mostly turn down the opportunities that are travel because I like to stay with my family and I like to be with my family. At the end of the day, my faith, my belief in God and me being a Christian is like the number one thing in my life. And then after that, it's my family. And after that, it's my drums and my career. So for me, I'm a family man. I am a faith man. I spend a lot of my time at church volunteering or playing drums or helping out with different things. And then I spend a lot of time with my family. And after that, I spend as much time as I can playing and making, videos and content and doing what I love. But I've always been the kind of guy that would rather spend more time with my family than work more just so I can make more money. So like I said earlier in the video, I keep my expenses and everything low so that I don't have to work as much and I don't have to feel the pressure of how much can I work so that I can make this much money and put it in the bank or drive a nicer car? Like, if you wonder about that, my cars, I have a 2014 VW Jetta, which, I mean, it's a great car. I guess it would be like my nicest car. And that's my wife's car. I wanted to get something safe for her and our baby when we had our first child. And then I have a 2006 Honda Odyssey minivan, which has almost 300,000 miles on it, and that thing's a trooper. And then I also have a 2009 Chevy HHR, which is like the Budweiser delivery vehicle or something. Basically, it's like a weird station wagon thing that I got to haul my drums around in, and so like I don't drive super nice cars. I invest most of my money in equipment and like having cool cameras and having a studio and things like that. So I always try and put it back into what I do. And at the beginning, right before COVID, I had a daughter. So now I have two kids. I have a son who's 4.5, and I have a daughter who is a little over 1. She turned 1 in January, so now she's like 15 months. And my wife and I just celebrated 5 years of marriage. So pretty spectacular. I love my life because I believe that I love my life so much because I put the right things first and I prioritize and I care more about my family and I care more about my faith than I do about money or about things that don't matter. And so I could be happy driving a 2006 minivan, or I could be happy driving a nice sports car, but I'm happy driving a 2006 minivan, I also don't think that I'm super cool, so it helps not to think that I'm really cool and think that I have to drive a cool car, because then driving a 2006 minivan might not feel so cool. So that's how life is. It's good. I play some drums. I spend a lot of time with my family, and I spend a lot of time at church, and I am happy. I'm working on some new projects coming up, and I'll have some big announcements pretty soon. I'm definitely trying to figure out what the next chapters are, because not that I'm stopping the YouTube thing by any means. I love doing it, and I'll definitely continue to do it, but I know that YouTube probably won't always be forever, and so I have some other projects that I want to do that I think will, it's what God has for the next steps of my life, and I'm really excited about it. All right, I'm going to try and answer this question real quick before my cameras turn off. What is your top 5 favorite bands or artists? This isn't an easy question, and I don't know if I'll be able to answer it off the top of my head very easily, but this is from Oliver Cork 8. I would say my favorite band of all time is Kings of Leon. I think that they just have a very versatile catalog. They sound really interesting and different on so many of their different records. Their drummer, Nathan Followill, is one of my favorite drummers. I think that he's really creative and interesting while also very fitting of the song and very, I would say, like, just interesting while also not too over the top. So I really, really love his playing, and I love that band. I also really love Queen. Roger Taylor's an incredible drummer. Queen has always been one of my favorite bands ever. It's one of my biggest things that I wish I could have seen was Freddie Mercury with Queen live. I've seen them with Adam Lambert a couple of times, if not 3 times, and that's always been incredible, but I really always wish I could have seen Freddie play live, or sing live, I guess. I also am a big fan of the Foo Fighters, Nirvana, Dave Grohl. Dave Grohl is one of my favorite musicians of all time. I think he's an incredible drummer, incredible vocalist, just a great all-around human being, and I think that he's just super inspiring as a musician. So I love the Foo Fighters, and I love Nirvana, and I love Queens of the Stone Age, all the stuff that Dave Grohl was a part of. I love that kind of stuff. I just love Dave Grohl as a musician. He's incredible. And Taylor Hawkins is an amazing drummer as well. Also, 21 Pilots and Josh Dunn. I love what they do. It's really, really fun to listen to them. Really, really interesting and entertaining. And very creative stuff, different kind of genre. And I also, I've always been a big fan of Maroon 5. I really liked them more when they were like an actual band and, played music that was not just like a pop song with Adam Levine on it. But I do one of my favorite albums of all time is Songs About Jane. And I just love jamming that because there's just so many good grooves, so many good pieces and parts in it. I think that's 4. Let me pick one more. If I was going to pick another band that I listen to a lot, lately I would say a group that I listen to a ton is Maverick City Music. They are a worship group and just phenomenal stuff. I listen to them all the time, especially when I'm, just working around in the studio, getting things set up. I really enjoy listening to music that is uplifting, and of course I love worship and everything. So all right, so we've reached the end of the camera, and I think that means it's a good amount of time for a quite lengthy Q&A. So thank you so much for watching. I hope the answers have been really interesting, and I hope maybe they've been helpful. Maybe they've been just, fun to listen to. Make sure you go sign up to win this microphone and go get some stuff from Sweetwater. It's absolutely the best place to buy your gear, and it's where I buy my gear. And I love the customer service there. I love the way that they treat people. And it's an amazing place to get great deals on Earthworks audio gear. So go do it. Go sign up. Go win this microphone. And thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.